I'm Werner Libbe for Anglers, and we are bringing you a very nice tip today. We've had a lot of queries and questions about reels and drags, as we highlighted quite a number of new reels. So today I'm going to talk to you about drag systems and how to operate them. The first one, on this Okuma Inception 6000, it has a front drag system, nothing else. It's a very light reel, and it's only got a quick drag in front, so that is tight. So you can cast with it on a tight position, but a quarter turn will give you a fighting drag, and from tight, half a turn will give you quite a free drag. So that is a front drag system. On the Daiwa Emblem, it has a different drag system. It's got a front drag plus the rear drag, and it has a bait feeder system which can be engaged manually or automatically as you turn the reel. How does this operate? The front drag is similar to a normal front drag system, and normally the Emblem 25A it does not have a quick drag, but I've modified this to be a quick drag. So the front drag is also a quick drag from tight casting, half a turn to fighting drag. Okay, so that's what we have. Then, so how does it operate? I would then tighten it, cast, put it down, and especially when I'm fishing for bigger fish, just loosen it a little bit so that it's got a tight but fighting drag. Leave the reel like that and engage the bait feeder system. Now the bait feeder system is a light drag, which is good for a reel run, and you set it at the back. It's got a very fine setting, but you can turn it quite a lot to make a little difference. Let me just show you. There it's fairly tight. If I loosen it, it's very light. So that is the way that you operate with it. And remember, when you pick it up and you start turning the reel, this will click forward and you will be on the front drag. So the moment you are like that, you're on the rear drag, but the moment you pick it up, you can either turn the reel or manually do that. What it also has in terms of playing a fish, when I'm fishing, especially speed fishing, and it's not big fish, so the moment it's up to 2-3 kilo fish, I fish with a tight drag. So I'll put that on, and when the fish runs, I will obviously have that, start turning, and it will click on, and then I'll be on the front drag. But I will immediately click it so that I'm on the back wind. I like playing the fish on a back wind. It's comfortable for me, and I've always got this finger onto the bail arm so that when the fish wants to run, I can let it run and control it with this finger, and I can have it on the back wind. If you are not comfortable with a back wind, rather set this so that you are on a fighting drag, and you can obviously set that to whatever your liking is. Smaller hooks, lighter drag; bigger hooks, slightly tighter drag. Okay, that is on the Emblem. Let's go to the next reel. The next reel we're looking at is the Okuma Tournament. Now the Tournament is also a front fighting drag and a rear bait feeder drag. Similar to the Emblem, This one comes out with a progressive or quick drag, not as quick as the one that I've modified, but it's quick enough. It's a progressive quick drag. So from tight, half a turn, and we're on to a fighting drag. So you can then set that to whatever tightness you want. Okay, so casting, tight, put it down, just put it onto the setting that you would like to have it. Then engage the bait feeder system or the bait feeder function, which then means the moment it is onto the bait feeder system, the drag setting is at the back. So you have to set this in the direction of whichever drag you want to set. So you can't put it there on the front drag system and then try and set the rear drag, because it will not make any difference. So you have to set it to the rear drag system, and then you can set it here to whatever function or whatever tightness you want. Now in terms of this is also, again, you can do it manually once you picked it up, or you can just start turning the reel and it will automatically engage the front drag again. Okay, so that's how this works. What is important with the rear drag system on the bait feeder? Do not have it too light. Set it with a reasonable resistance so that when the fish picks it up and it starts running, that it at least sets the hook to an extent. It's not like picking it up, but don't have it so that if you have a quick take that it overwinds. It should not be loose. It should be reasonably tight. Now on the bait feeder you don't have a drag setting of 8 or 10 kilograms or whatever, and it's not made for that. So it's only a bait feeder system, so it is meant for you to let out line fairly easy. Once again, if the fish starts running, you can pick it up, either engage it manually or engage it by just reeling in. That is the Okuma tournament. Now let's have a look at the Shimano reels. The Shimano is a Baitrunner, and the Shimano does not have a front drag because it is clipped off. The spool can clip off and clip back, so there's no turning knob that can set it to the front drag. It's the integrated drag inside the body. How does it work? At the back there are two rings. Now the Baitrunner arm has got a forward and a backward setting. Now it's quite easy to remember. The back setting is the fighting drag, and that's the big knob. Now the big knob you can set to set your fighting drag. So when you cast, you need to have it tight. It's not a quick drag, so it takes a number of turns. So now it's tight to be able to cast. So once you've cast and you want to set it as a fighting drag, you have to turn the big knob at the back, and the indicator is that this arm shows to the back. You can then set that onto whatever setting you want with respect to your fighting drag. Once you put it down, you need to engage the Baitrunner system, which is forward, and if you want to set the drag associated with the forward position, it is the small ring, which is the front ring. So that's the Baitrunner system. You'll also see it's much lighter now. Now you can set that on the small ring. Now once it's on that setting, you can also disengage it manually, or you can start turning. Okay, if you start turning it, it disengages as well, and it's now onto the fighting drag. Okay, so let's just recap quickly. Fighting drag at the back, drag for the fighting drag big knob at the back. Baitrunner system, front ring, set the Baitrunner setting. That's the light one. It will disengage once you start turning the reel, or you can do it manually. Okay, so that's it. What is important to understand or to remember is when you have Shimano reels and some of the other reels like the Daiwa or the Okuma, they are opposite. So where the Baitrunner function or the bite and run on the Daiwa or the bait feeder system on the Okuma is set to the back, it's onto the bait feeder system, which is the setting knob at the back, and when it's to the front, you set it on the front on the spool itself. Okay, but in the Shimano it's the other way around, but it's easy to remember. Front setting, Baitrunner, small ring. Fight setting, to the back, big knob. That's what you set to fight the fish with, and obviously also at the back or at the bottom is your anti-reverse, which you can set it or disengage it if you want to play the fish on a back line. So that's it. I hope now you understand drag settings on the different types of reels.